Alrighty, hello everyone, and welcome to Monday, the 8th of December. It's great to have you here. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. And of course, we're talking everything from stocks to cryptos to commodities. Plenty to go through in today's show. Did you guys have a good weekend? I hope you did. Let's start off with the big one, Bitcoin. What is going on here? Well, we got the daily 20 close last week, which of course I found quite bullish. And we then sell off again, and we've rallied once more back to 92. I still think looking pretty good. Key level to watch in the future, obviously the 96,000 guys, and then into the 102 to 104,000 range. So this is probably where I expect the market to get to. But what do you guys think in the chat? Bitcoin, one of the most interesting charts right now. Obviously the US500 looking pretty good still, but yeah, this one really is providing that kind of extra pep in the step in terms of at least today's show. 3160 for Ethereum, US500 at 6880. I mean, 25,700 for the Nasdaq, up 0.27, and then we have the old oil down per barrel 1.15%, and a little bit of movement in gold and silver. So a little bit quiet here. Most of the big news will be coming as of the Fed's rate announcement. So if you're not familiar with that, just remember that on Wednesday, guys, we will have the US federal funds rate expected to be cut 25 basis points. Obviously, the statement and projections will be key. And we'll also see a press conference half an hour afterwards. So what you'll want to be doing is probably paying attention to this one, as we'll get a lot of an idea of what's going to happen next. And sometimes this can become a very volatile half an hour period. How many of you guys have traded this period before? I'm sure a few of you. You guys know how it is. It can be up, down, and all around, as someone said before. Then we also have Japanese news as well coming. So yeah, plenty of stuff on the horizon. See the answers for Bitcoin. What do we got here? A few of you thinking that it could go to about 102. Yeah, I agree. 102 looks pretty good. Everything's bigger in Texas every time. I've heard that. Texas barbecue. I was watching some, probably someone knows him. It's like a YouTuber that does, like, I think it says Texas barbecue and Mexican pinto beans and stuff. It's pretty good. He's a good guy. Michael Moss says, "G'day, Thomas and everyone. I'm late, but I have a note from my mum." Very good. The mic has some remote quality, Tom. Really? It should be good. Oh, we got a problem on the mic. Oh, we do. Sorry, guys. Oh my goodness, it's turned. Let me turn the whole thing off. You're not wrong. It's terrible quality. That's the problem when you got three mics. Let me just quickly fix this. All right, it's not done yet, but yeah, that mic is crap. I apologize, guys. Sounds like you're in a bathroom. That's the difference in quality mics, guys. When you get $1,000 mic plus, well, actually plus a lot more, probably $2,500 mic setup versus $50. All right, let's get the proper one back. Can we do it? Will it recognize? That is not. That is really not good. All right, we might be totally stuffed. And that's unfortunate because I've been using this all day and it's been totally fine. Well, guys. That's the wonderful world of streaming sometimes, unfortunately. Give me 1 sec. We'll give this one more shot. We can still understand you. It'll be all right. I might at least switch over to one of the other mics I've got. I do apologize, everyone. It's never cool. There. All right, we'll just have to go with the crappy mic, unfortunately, and I'll just have to hope that thing comes on. We'll switch it over to iPhone mic. I'm sure it's going to be slightly better. All right, is that a bit better, guys? We'll just leave it like that, I guess. Okay, we'll keep going. If it comes back, it comes back. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Never change your branding system. Yeah, well, it works perfect. That's the problem. All right, so anyway, Bitcoin, let's go into it. 92,000 at the moment. Still looking very bullish on structure here at this point. And I think that's kind of, good. So you've got to like the series of higher highs and higher lows. A lot of people are going to, of course, go down the line of saying, yeah, but Tom or anyone, but it still could be flagging, could be getting ready for the next move down. I do think that the good news is that we've hit liquidity a couple of times. People have lost a lot of faith in it. Oh, no video. Jeez. There. All right. We'll give a catch. We're going to restart here. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the 8th. I'm going to cut everything from the previous point so no one else has to watch that except for the people here live. Do appreciate you guys. And we're going to start again. So basically, we've got Bitcoin coming up today's show, US500, gold, silver, everything else in between. Plenty of things to discuss. We'll start off here with Bitcoin. We're just discussing basically the idea that the price was pretty good looking. And one of the main reasons was it closed above the daily 20. The other reason was that we had a series of higher highs and higher lows. And of course, we basically have a couple of good targets to go towards. A 96,000, which is the first miniature resistance on the left-hand side, and the 102 to 104, which seems to be where I think the market's going. And I think the big decision point for gold, for Bitcoin, is going to be around that point. Because what that's going to do is it's going to give us a very clear target in terms of volume, in terms of where the biggest amount of transactions have gone through, and possibly even some synergies with the rest of the market. So first up, Bitcoin does look better. Whenever you're looking at Bitcoin, you should also look at a couple of the other alts. So we'll have a look here at Ethereum. You can see here, long leg doji on Ethereum, really strong, interesting resistance point at 3,200, guys. And if we clear this, then that's really pointing towards, you guessed it, up here in the 3,500 mark, which should equal about 102K on Bitcoin. So again, synergy across the board. Solana, many others, all coming in kind of around that same point there. What do you think of Michael Burry's take on Bitcoin? What is it? That Bitcoin is worthless? Is that what he says, or something else? Give me Michael Burry's take in 1 or 2 sentences or less, and we can discuss it. But yeah, always interested in that as well. We can look at that. All right, so from the crypto phase, I think at the moment things do look a lot more positive. We did check out IBIT options on the weekend as well. We found that 49, so we'll just do the analysis here, and 43 are both really clear levels. So if I have a look at IBIT, so we'll just pop IBIT on. what you'll notice, guys, is that we're trading at 52 now, but more importantly, 49 is just on that low, okay, that we saw. So 49, about 50 was the low previous Friday. So then 49 would be this gap fill area here. And I think that's really interesting. So you've got like kind of like a put wall here. Then you got a put wall at 43, which is very good as well. And that lines up incredibly well with, you guessed it, about 75K. So clear defined lines, a gap fill for a put wall, which is very close to current price. And then of course a 75. Now you will also notice that if you look at IBIT, you could almost argue that this is becoming a more important chart than Bitcoin in some ways. We actually weren't able to clear the daily 20 because you can see it's here. So also a level to watch and check this week, guys, $53.30-ish. And the reason is because nowadays that Bitcoin has been entered into by Wall Street, we're actually looking at options more. So if you're a new time viewer to this channel or you haven't seen some of our stuff before, one of the things that I always mention to you guys is that it's about bringing all the pieces of the puzzle together. And I think that when you're trading, and you guys would agree with this, I'm sure, Bitcoin has become very optionable. Lots of options trades, therefore, has to be paid attention to. And you'll notice that price action, options in the ETF world are starting to dictate a lot of the move versus just following giant whale dumps and moves as well. Now, how will it end up? I would say Wall Street will totally take it over, but at this point, it's starting to actually be more interesting because it's kind of like a stock. So for a lot of us in the stock world, it's exciting because in many ways it's come into the world we understand very well, and obviously we don't have to be looking on the dark web anymore and, and random 10 different exchanges as much. But yeah, liquidity steals, big options, and of course large flows seem to be some of the best reads for this. So some interesting levels to watch. Marry up IBIT, marry up Bitcoin, some really good stuff there. Barry thinks it's tulips, but if the whole world is buying tulips, it's a trader's job to ride with them. That is correct. I actually really agree with this statement. So this is the first statement here from Yoku. Very good. Barry calls it tulips, or in other words, worthless and way overpriced. Okay, that could be just headline getting here. Japan's Ueda signaling a hike coming. Thoughts? Yeah, nothing much to really think about there. It's we'll talk about it a little bit later to discuss it. And yeah, using the tulip analogy probably wouldn't work out. Look, you've got to remember, we can't use. I think Bitcoin has properties from gold. I think it has some store of value, which is very important. Obviously, I'm more of a Bitcoin maxi than any other crypto, but the main thing here is you think about fiat money print. It's a very compelling argument for Bitcoin. It's also compelling when you think about 2 generations truly loving it and really believing in it more so than most other things in life. So I think that, you know, this is in some ways what was, I think Elon mentioned this once, it was like backed by energy, all the energy used to create it. There are many cases to say bullish, bearish, whatever. I always say don't worry too much about that. Just think about the flows, the movement, the price action. That's the most important component. And then you've got to ask yourself as well the question of, okay, well, what could it become worth? You know, what could gold become worth? I think gold could become worth easily $7,500 an ounce. Now, could gold become worth $25,000 an ounce? What do you guys think? Tell me in the chat right now. We'll answer and read that together right now. For 500 of you coming in, thank you very much, guys, with this morning's support. I do apologize for that terrible mic, and it's not much better now, but it's a little bit better, which is okay. We're back, baby. Here. Yeah, there we are. There we are. See? Fixed, just like we're going to fix Bitcoin's price together. Hell yeah. That should be good now. All right. So we've got Bitcoin. Very good. Let's look at US500. Now, I do a macro show for my private community. Yes, I do have one. Links in the description down below. fxevolution.com is a bit of a plug. But I did want to share with you guys one of the things we talked about today. And one of those things is, of course, that when we're looking at these markets, we've got to consider that these markets don't look sick right now. And you might be wanting to say, oh, I should short it. I should get rid of this market. Oh, excuse me. But one of the things that we can see here is that this market doesn't exactly look weak. What does that look like price action wise, guys? Anyone know? One of the sayings I always have. Tom very much nailed this drop to the levels when it was 116. Respect, my dude. Appreciate it, John. Thank you very much. I don't think gold could hit 25K, at least not in the next 10 years. Yeah. Time is one of the questions we could certainly ask. But what I'm saying is it could hit these levels in the future. So there's always something there. Much better, Mike. That's right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Gold, 75,000 depends on inflation. See, it's possible. I love it, guys. What you're recognizing is a mistake I made years ago. I'm never making this mistake again. Don't make my mistake, okay? I had the sweet Bitcoins in my hand. I was making 2 a day on the computers. You know, that's how much you could literally make back then, if you can believe it. And I sold those babies cheap. And I've, of course, bought them back and held and done stuff since. But if I had the OG gangster Bitcoins, let's just say it would have been pretty good. So what did I learn? Well, somebody there, and I've told this story before, with me, he actually dollar cost sold them. And he basically said, okay, I'm going to take a certain amount out here, certain amount out here, certain amount here, out here. And his belief was, I don't know what the ceiling is. It could be unlimited. And lucky for him, it continued to kind of prove that point. Yeah. Because obviously at the beginning, it was a joke. It was a joke. So I was no true believer back then. I was just like, you can make it with a computer. Input cost $2.50, output cost $8. You know, it was pretty sweet. So it's just amazing how this thing kind of comes through. So what I think you can take from that in gold is gold has survived the Egyptians, it's survived the Romans, it's survived the Greeks, it's survived countless disasters, it's survived Pompeii. You know, come on, we've got the Dark Ages. Doesn't matter what period in time in history you go back to, you're probably going to be pretty damn rich with your gold. So it will go up over time, and therefore it does have an unlimited ceiling, in my opinion. Because what is it based on? A fiat currency that's debasing at 99.9999% over time. So very, very interesting stuff. Love that. Now, I love that thought process. It's a big deal. So this, of course, is a dull market here, guys. And what a dull market is not a market you want to short. So I think the stock market looks pretty strong from that perspective. US500 managed to break through 68.50. It's at 68.80 now. So it's obviously in that positive gamma situation as well that we talked about. So I think we do it best here together. You know, no one does it like us when we bring all this data and this TA together. Would you guys agree? Does anyone do it like us? No one does it like us. Do they? I don't think so. Maybe someone does. But yeah, we bring it together. The macro, the data, the charting, the flow. It's the beautiful thing. I love it to this day. However many years in the game now, since 2006, and I just cannot get over how good it is. 7K zone is the target, of course, ultimately here for the market, and we remain bullish in structure. Remember, most of the data stats pointing towards November, and December being generally bullish. And I know that that is unbelievable to many of us out there, especially when we don't even get jobs numbers anymore. But it is what it is. So you just have to put your opinions a little bit to the side. Now, last week we looked at the junior Qs. We found that they were quite bullish. They made a new all-time high or very close to. So again, very different to the Qs themselves, which didn't quite do that. So it just shows you that the market is broadening, maybe not in the best way. And RSP is obviously also getting near those highs. So I think we might take a little sleep here, but really, I think the markets are pointing towards pretty good structure. I'd be interested to see a survey of you guys, though, whether you're bullish or bearish into the end of the year. So let's go here, start a poll. I'm sure some of you are going to disagree with me. Let's have a look. And that's fine. It's always takes two to tango. Have a look here. You guys vote in that. Tom Lee also says 7K. I thought he had some crazy high number originally. Baby Jesus received gold from one of the high wise kings. There we go. The problem, deflation during the Great Depression, gold outflows, the action, yes, executed order 6-1. Now, that's a little sneaky, though. That's a little bit of government sneaky. See, whenever you have executive order 6102, it sounds like one of those, that Star Wars thing. What was it called? Order something. And then all of a sudden, the Empire came in and took over everything with the droids. That's what they do against gold. There's no doubt that is true. So it can go into periods. Now, this is banned private gold ownership and export, forcing citizens to sell their gold to the treasury. I wonder why they did that. You had to go dig. You had to go get your farmland out, dig a big hole in the back of the ranch, and hope that no one came and found it. Dull markets melt up. Very good, truly. I totally agree, bro. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. XXY Ma. Appreciate it, man. Like James Bond, nobody does it better. Thank you, man. Nobody does it better than you guys, that's for sure. The Reset 1934 Gold Reserve Act raised official price of gold from $20.67 to $35 an ounce at nearly 70% premium increase. There we go. We do love some Tom Lee. Absolutely. It takes two Toms to tango. Yeah. Very good. He had 7.5K, then revised down to 7. Makes sense. Too many people think it's Santa rally. It is an interesting concept, Victor. I think the thing is we have to look at structure. So RSP is, look, it's at a high, but again, so far the strength has been there, man. And we are technically in a positive gamma here now, or at least, maybe 6,900 maybe is now the new stretch mark. But I think the markets don't really have too much cause for concern yet in terms of structure. Now, if we take certain bad levels, hey, we'll have to change our opinion, of course. But at this point, I just see pullbacks being purchased. And we've talked a lot about 6,700 as well being a pretty strong zone. So even if we pull back, remember the stat that we had was 95% bullish from the end of October to the start of January. So that was a pretty much with a roundabout doing nothing November, which is pretty much what's happened so far. Order 666. Has NVIDIA lost its leadership? Yes, at the moment, this is true. Very good chart, by the way. Excellent chart. Great thought process. Love it. Yeah, guys, this is one I think a lot of people sleep on. NVIDIA SPY, NVIDIA SPX, whatever you want to put in. NVIDIA is not leading. Now, you might say, oh, does that mean it's over? It's certainly a loss of leadership, but there's a counter to this. And the counter is, of course, take the entire semiconductor sector, which got invigorated by Google, and it's almost at an all-time high. So I think, yes, NVIDIA has suffered a little bit because it's degraded the stock love and then everyone went flowing into other ones. So I wouldn't say it's, again, a concern because here we have the rest of the market. Two things in focus this week, guys. We've got Oracle with an earnings report coming. So get ready for that one. I had a look through, and obviously there's a sea of different gains and losses there for Oracle. But what I found is, look, the stock has already taken a massive dive. So I would think it's going to structure up somewhere around down here. It's not really, it's more of a gamble, really, if you're trying to buy it. But I think it's still educated in some ways. What do you guys think in the chat? Up, down for Oracle after earnings? I'm obviously looking for a 236 break up to kind of signal that it's ready to start regaining some of that 45%. Talk of doing that order now in Europe. Yes. Makes sense. Now Italy and Austria. Look, it makes sense. The euro's in trouble long term, I think. Central banks won't stop buying gold. BRICS net settles gold. I did that and struck oil. Is this a true story? Hey?
An oil baron, also called Tom. Coincidence? You have a cowboy hat, by any chance? You guys go all in long. I am looking for more shorts for my folio. I am long enough. That is fair. That is fair. It was order 66. I don't think it was triple sixes. Wall Street and hedge funds have hit their targets for the bonus. Have they hit their targets? Or have to? Yes, they do need their sweet money, and they are super behind. Maybe a tiny bit bullish. Yen carry trade should put an end to this ugly bull market. So it's interesting. This story continues to be the big one out there in the markets right now. Let's just have a quick look at that. We'll just do the JP question. So obviously, we can look at JP 10Ys, 20Ys, 30Ys. You guys can see here they're all getting carried away in more recent days. Now, this has been a story a relatively long time coming. We've obviously had several crunch periods on this, most notably this one over here, which created all the headlines back in August of 24. We got crushed. And then, of course, since then, the level that we were once scared about has doubled over that period. And obviously, certain crosses have doubled. Now going back to 06 periods. Look, there's something lurking here, but there's a lot of eyes on it. So there's two sayings. One of them is black swan events. And then often the idea of a black swan is it comes out of nowhere, except for what generally it is it's already in plain sight. I do think a lot of people are talking about it, though. I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing it everywhere. Is everyone else seeing this Japanese concern everywhere? I'm not downplaying that it's not a problem. It's been a problem for a long time. But is this story everywhere right now? Some funds were way overweight and allow on what is allowed in NVDA. They're probably rebalancing. It's a great point. Absolutely. Same boat here, but other than crypto and OpenAI, I don't see much worth shorting. Yeah, so there's another one as well that's starting to get up there because it's getting included in the S&P, I heard, which is Carvana. I can't believe that. That thing's actually, we just had a look at that today. Carvana is through the roof here. Look at this thing. Holy moly. Whoa. 437. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why we're not stupid enough to blindly short markets. Because in many ways, you might look at this stock and say, I want to kick its ass. But you don't do it. Because look at that. Carvana into the S&P up 9.31%. Had a nice rally, by the way. It's a beautiful candle rally. If you got that, I actually applaud you. Because not only is it a replicable trade, but on top of that, you've also now gone against what probably is this called the intellectual view of it. And time again, it proves that it's not really the smarts that make you the best in the market. It's the discipline. It's the following of the process and putting the bias to the side. Oracle up for sure. Very good. So SMH monthly, very strong and currently breakout after the rest bullish. Absolutely. Oracle, the debt is priced in. Yes. But I don't know. Seems like a big gamble. There's always a level of fear that goes into these things. Last crash was due to outside factors like COVID. Next one is the same. I smell something in the carry trade. Could be there. I don't think this crash that's coming, because I do also believe there's one coming, is going to be from one factor. I think it's a deck of cards. It's a domino stack, like those domino Olympics that you see, where they click one and then it just goes slowly, and then they follow it with the camera. I'm sure you've seen it before, and then it just keeps going and going and going and going, and then like 20 minutes later, the domino thing's finished. That's how many dominoes I think will end up crashing this one. More than one. Just came from Japan, been living there for 5 years. I'll tell you my thoughts. It's going to get a lot weaker. Okay, good. I think we will see some really big pumps for the end of the year and maybe even continue into January, but I have low expectations afterwards. Yeah, so I'll be giving my thoughts on 2026 soon, as I said in a webinar. and you guys will hopefully be interested in that. You'll come along. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be structurally as good as this year. I think it's going to be a trader's year and a good positioner's year as well. It is, but no panic so far. Yeah, I'm seeing it getting like 10 million impressions, 5 million impressions. If it's in the news, it's priced in. That's one thing I wanted to say. If it's in the press, it's often in the price. Like it's one of those things that something will break one day, but no need to panic at this stage. Because what is it? We're guessing. Wasn't Carvana on the brink of death? Yes, this is the great point. What a lesson this is for all of us. Like, how are we here viewing this stuff? And you guys can see that this particular stock, it has defied the logic. Look at it. It was $1 do, $1 do, $2 do, something like that. You buy it with a Costco hot dog. One Costco hot dog is now 200. Wait, how much is a Costco hot dog in America? $2? 200 Costco hot dogs, guys. You could literally be dead from the Costco. I don't know. That may not have been a good trade because you buy Costco hot dogs now with you, and you'd probably die eating 200 of them. It wouldn't be very good. Bull 82%. Oh, that's scary. We'll end the poll now so we don't have to look at it anymore. 82% of you guys think that it's bullish into the end of the year. Puts on Carvana. Well, there's no flow, is there? That's the point. All right. $1.50. If you draw a regression trend on the S&P 500 using 2 standard deviations from 2008 till now, we are at the tippity top right now. I believe that. Problem is, I'm not sure that's again enough read for us. Yeah, I think it's probably in the private credit if you had to ask me a question. But anyway, 600 people joining us. Thanks, guys, for coming in bright and early here for the market. So let's go over the rest of it, guys. Let's smash out a couple of stocks here. We've got Tesla first up. We have a really nice double bottom base that obviously did really well last week, and it continued up and it hit the 450 kind of target. And you can see here or 460, sorry, target just got before that. And it's pulling back a little bit. That's perfectly normal. I think this again tells us don't put our bias onto things. You've got to always follow the flow. Obviously, I saw bearishness. Then it clipped the low out, came back, looked really good here for buys. And then it's here. Now, if it does break this level of 460 plus, I think we're going towards just under 500, which is obviously a key options level. And I think that sell-offs will be probably bought. And key level to look for is about 425 on this one. Should we actually go down to those lows? Some other notables in the big stocks. Meta continues to look relatively strong. We looked at that 2 weeks ago, was it? And started getting bullish on about 3 different reasons we liked it there. NVDA is, yeah, that's NVIDIA. Okay. And Microsoft is boring. And Google is bullish. And you know I like Google. And the key level here is going to be the daily 20 each time. So if you're a day trader, scalper, whatever, swing trader, you might like to look at the daily 20 for that one. And Amazon is doing nothing. It is boring. Okay. And Apple is the slow melt up stock. It's just plodding along. Came out a couple of weeks ago, months ago now. It was really good. And since then, it's just been slow. I don't think the government will allow a crash. They will just perpetually kick the can down the road. If anything breaks, they will just print more money to fix it. I'd agree with you, except for that you can't do it with certain things. So, look, you know, you might say, oh, well, they didn't know what they were doing in the GFC, so that's why they couldn't save it. No, it becomes too systemic. So you've got to think about it as we've already been carrying a bunch of zombie businesses, but there are other things that can happen, more powerful effects. So I think the dangerous thing right now is believing this time is going to be different. Remember, history would tell you that many, many crashes have occurred over the years. Some people don't really remember the 70s, but those falls in the market are actually brutal trading experiences. And there are several crashes that I think people would lose their absolute shit on nowadays. The other thing is people taking huge leverage. So it's the most levered we've ever been ever in history at this stage. So people are seriously involved in this market. And you might say, I'll print our way out of it. I would say there's some problems here that are so systemic that I don't think you can print out of. So look, we are due for one. It's great to talk about. Well, some ways it's exciting, in some ways it's terrifying. But again, not seeing the signs of breakdown just yet. It's still bullish at this point. Yeah, Apple is the only one not drinking the AI Kool-Aid. Yeah, it's interesting that Apple aren't doing it. Well, then again, you say they're not doing it. They've tried Apple AI phone, and it's not doing it. It doesn't do anything. It does nothing. All right, let's move over to US oil. Nothing going on here, guys. 61, still watching this week. Copper, been very nice last week. We actually got this one in our private group. Yes, I did kind of save it over there a little bit, but there's plenty of fish in the sea. And it was quite good. Decent technical pattern, pretty replicable, and very, very nice. And still, I think, moving towards the 565 kind of marker. So it shows you that most metals still looking bullish across the board. Speaking of metals, silver is taking a pit stop. So a pit at this stage. It does breach through the high of 59.30. I think it'll actually go quite a lot higher for a few dollars. So that'll be interesting if that happens. And gold is chilling out here. 42.50 plus should bring a bit of a kind of pinch in terms of a decent squeeze could start to come through, which would be nice to see. So still bullish both of those, even though this might look like a horrible chart to some people. I would say the trend is still up, and there's a reason why they're selling here. So I'm just waiting for further replication to see new longs. China is still bullish, just floating around in the middle of nowhere. And in general, that's kind of like the broad market at this point. The Japanese yen is a concern. It's a storyline this week. The Fed is a concern. It's a storyline this week. But I would say until something happens, the market itself is at least at this stage dialing in on bullishness. Now, do watch your 10-year this week and 20-year, because this breakout could start to make some waves in the news and, well, at least in the price first. And that's a 4.18%, 4.2% breakout of 10-year yield, 20-year yield, 30-year yield. They're all breaking up, which suggests that the Federal Reserve is not going to be able to necessarily do as many cuts as they wanted to. So you can see here, even the 2 years going up. So yeah, the market's starting to get this idea that inflation could be persistent in this market at this point. Tinfoil hat theory for me from Will is that all the different currencies, I guess, pound and euros collapse, and there'll be a domino effect in 2027. Yep, it's certainly a possibility. We end up with the world crypto coin. There's more taxpayers now. They haven't hit the super funds or bought in inheritance tax, which are on the cards now. Which country? Apple, Tesla, and Google are the only ones free of the shitty open AI ecosystem. Yes, that's not good. That burn is bad, guys. Is anyone else concerned? Like that, I know it's in open. I know it's in the open. But does that burn? Is that burn insane? Is that insane burn? Have you guys seen the charts? Let me show you the charts. 1 second. Oh, by the way, I need to show you the new Barron's cover. Anyone seen the Barron's cover? All right, here's the burn. So what I mean by this is how much OpenAI is supposedly cranking out in terms of debt expectation. Wow. Okay, that is big. And a lot of people are saying that's the price of innovation. Look, allegedly and reportedly, supposedly, there's people out going out and collecting the RAMs so that they can hoard it in their They even bought the RAM like unsoldered and stuff, so they could hoard it in their little caves. But OpenAI 2024, 2029, absolutely wild. That expense, and I just whoever wins may win big, but whoever loses is going to lose big. And there's the new Barron's cover. Absolutely terrifying if you're a bull. Barron's, Wall Street's new rich. Private market upstarts are taking over from legacy banks. I read this today and I thought, oh, that's about as bad as it could get. Private market upstarts from legacy banks. Okay. Debt being written by people that are probably not that regulated. Nothing to see here, guys. The names to watch and the dangers to watch out for. Wow. As a heading, I think I might put this one behind me on a poster one day. This could be my poster that I use in the future. Wall Street's new rich, the private equity front cover. Hell yeah. That's exactly the terrifying kind of front cover you don't want to see. Better download more RAM. That's all right. That's why I have 128 gigabytes. I need a lot of tabs. Gold. You can see here we have some. We don't need gold. Well, we do. We want it, but we don't need to do that one. So we did Bitcoin. We did this already. We did most of the markets. Dollar, not much to see here. Kind of on like a pseudo weird support. Kind of oversold, but at the same time, it went under this low. So I'd be super neutral on dollar. You can make a case for bearish or bullish here. So just chill on that one. We'll do a couple of user stocks now. What are you guys looking at this week? Do I have a stock of choice? Last week was copper. And you know what I saw firing a little bit last week? I was interested in it again was uranium. Uranium started firing again. We saw that really hammer through there on that Thursday session. So it looks like uranium may have stopped the bleed for now, as everyone wakes up to the fact that we have absolutely no electricity for these data centers. That being said, there's not really a true solution here either, because it takes too long. But it got fired up a little bit. NVDA, we checked it before. I had to unfortunately yawn on that one. It's not doing anything, man. It's just around support, just off the base a little bit. Platinum, sure. Platinum. Not bad. Not bad. We like the platinum. It's got a nice breach out high from about 2 weeks ago, I think. And we're obviously in a consolidation underneath previous high. So break of 1680 is a big deal. And I would set alerts above that. Close specifically, big deal. Looks good. Uranium, oil, and gas are the whisper. So a lot of people are particularly now waking up to the oil. We obviously on that a little while ago, old oil services doing very, very nicely. Love oil services. I also noticed that when you look at these commodity index tracking funds, quite a lot of them are breaking up at this stage. So that's a big base. It's been basing now for a year and a half kind of period, maybe more. So this is some significant breakouts here in commodities across the board. SoFi keeps diluting. That is unfortunate. Where's SoFi? Yes, it is quite volatile and quite sideways. Probably a trade in the future that looks all right. I would say there's an argument to say it's already started to turn bullish in this structure in here, but yeah, not the best thing I've ever seen in the way. Palantir, I do get asked that one a lot. Palantir is an interesting one. I think Barry has a lot of opinions on this stock, doesn't he? He hates it. Doesn't he hate this stock? I think he does. I think he's been trying to short it a few times and he's not a big fan. Look, I always say when volatility enters the chat, which it has here, probably less interesting. The vast majority of the money's been made. That obviously entered in the chat back in August, September. So since then it's been, whoa. And you might say, yeah, but Tom, 150 to 200 is a lot of percentage. Yeah, but it went up and then down again. So look, is it okay? As long as the market holds itself together, Palantir likely continues to find bid. I don't think it's a very strong position, at least in my technical side. The way I look at it is always, do you have much edge on a chart? And sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. And the main thing for a trader or an investor is to figure out when you do have edge. So you can see here, you've got this nice downward trend line. You breached that. You obviously breached a high through 175. That's better than bearish. So I'd be more bullish, neutral on this. I haven't watched it. I'm happy to check it out. I think one of the things that I'm always realizing is you've got to look at both sides. So if I'm feeling bullish, then what should I be doing? I should be looking at all the bear opinions as well, seeing if there's any valid stuff there. Oh, was that the CEO in that interview recently that's going around on X? I've seen it. People are like absolutely melting down over this CEO interview, I believe. Earnings this week, Oracle, Adobe, and Lulu. Yes, well, we did Oracle already. Adobe has did see a massive bid. This actually had the second largest trade, the largest trade on it, which was significant. It breached 341. That's a big deal. So significant breach here ahead of earnings. It certainly does look a little bit more enticing with that. And of course, I've had my alert here at 370 forever. So I continue to just really maintain that. But I think for early adopters of Adobe in terms of the stock price action, it does look a little bit more enticing. Earnings coming up. But 370 is the ultimate activation of the buys. Palladium's also looking nice. Yes, very similar to platinum, except that it hasn't broken to the upside. You'll be able to see if you go check out the chart. 390 ABGO. Look, it's just strong, and that's all it is. It's not exciting, not bearish. It looks bullish. It looks like kind of like relatively dull as well, the way it's going up, but it's not like this is the market I like. That looks tasty. That's a tasty market. This is slightly scary because it keeps the volatility is into the chat, which tells me that, this, ooh, damn. This one over here, hell no. But I wouldn't be shorting. Tom Dokken is a play like UiPath, and could you take a look? We'll have a look. I can't do every one of these stocks, by the way, guys. I'm just having a look at some of them. Now we're getting into the sub 5 billion category. That's never good. We don't like sub 5 billion category. Yeah, I mean, I've seen this chart many, many times. I've always set alerts around this $50, $51. Klarna is still too young on the markets, so it's going to meet my IPO rule, which I'm sure you're aware of. You've been watching the channel for a while. He was sweating in the interview. I'm going to check that interview out. You guys maybe want to check it out. I'd watch it on this stream, but I don't think that's probably the right thing to do. Yeah, so I think this is the level if I was looking at a break on this type of thing. Penny stock. Cool. Morgan Stanley downgraded it. What, Palantir or this thing? I've lost so much money to the evil Novo Nordisk. Oh, yeah. Let's see if we can learn a lesson from Novo Nordisk, because obviously once the darling of the market, where's its main listing? It's somewhere in Europe. Oh, we'll just use the Class Bs. Yeah, there's no change of trend. That's the problem with this stock. So you can see here, I think the only one you might have been like in hindsight, there are a couple of buys that I think you could have got into. Probably a buy in here. Probably a buy in here. It's possible, but this would not meet my criteria. But I could understand why some people would see that as demand structure base. This one here, I think, is excellent. I would attack that usually as a day trader, or swing or position. Probably not invest because you never cleared the weekly 20. But you can actually see here the weekly 20 is nailing this stock. So I've heard this a lot recently, which kind of makes me want to look at the stock again. Because if you remember Wyckoff's third law, guys, one of his third laws was that you got to get the sweet volume. He said, "Yo, dude, get the sweet volume and you'll be okay." That's direct quote. So many traders have started to accumulate or do something. There's clearly a battle here between something going on. Someone's probably accumulating, someone's selling. And when you see volume based like this, you start to get a little bit more excited. So possibly a return to this stock soon will be good. The reason this one got chased is because it was the absolute king or queen of the markets over there for a little while. This can be called the widow maker now. Oh man. Tesla, we checked it out before. Thank you also to everyone that's coming in early. I understand it is not late in the US. It is early, early, early. So I think for this week, guys, things to watch. You are checking out effectively. You're going to be looking a lot at Bitcoin. 102 to 104 is kind of the main target I think I have on at the moment based on the evidence we have. And then we've also seen some nice breakups there in some of the other cryptos. Ethereum also doing better. Then we have US500 being kind of proofed by RSP, triple QJs, and other small caps. They're all at a weird resistance, but I think even if we sell, 6,700 will be around the level you want to be looking at the S&P if it does sell off. So we'll revisit that if we need to. We have also gold and silver both looking relatively bullish. Gold may have triggers on it at 42.50 technically, of course, potential. And Tesla, again, hitting a little bit of res. Got Oracle, Adobe, and a few other earnings this week. Adobe got a massive trade on it. Oracle, of course, has started to find some bid. And there's a lot of opportunity, but to me, the sectors at the moment that look most interesting, still healthcare, oil services. Big fan, of course, of metals across the board. You guys know I've been loving the metals. And it's not just the gold and silver and stuff. In recent times, I've really been liking iron ore, been liking quite a lot of copper as well and other stuff. So aluminium and is getting better now, and steel was good. So there's always another opportunity, I think, that's out there. And I think that's the best thing about these markets. Always something else going on, which is really sweet. Copper has had an interesting rally. Yeah, copper looks sweet. Are you streaming on the toilet? Respect for the multitasking approach. I'm thinking Ben's at the start of this video. We should be on. We should be all back. We're back. We're back. We're back. It's amazing how trash those other mics are, though, in devices. Natural gas, terrible. Don't do it, man. Why does everyone always go natural gas? Is natural gas the new XRP of stock trading? You know on that one. Yeah, natural gas is it looks fine on the charts, but you just gotta be really careful about the actual contracts. Obviously, you want to own it through stock, like and get belted around by the contract. Yeah, I like it. I like the base deal. I like this breach here at 4-1. There's been a couple of very nice Australian stocks that have done well in this sector as well. And yeah, I do think that natural gas doesn't look bad. I mean, you can see here, particularly this stuff here that's going on is a-okay to me. Very, very nice. Can barely hear it. Have a look at Vale. As you're getting thrashed today, it was doing really good. Yeah, 4.87. It's been very good. Yeah, I have. Don't worry. I've been looking at Vale. Don't worry about that. Everyone started trading natural gas since the Ukraine-Russia stuff. Yeah, absolutely it did. People did. You can see here as well, massive engulf to the downside. You ever listen to Little Bubble? It's like Weird Al, but for the markets. No. I listened to one creator and he's got like, I don't know, crypto dancing in a moon suit thing. No worries, Warwick. Catch you, mate. Ah, Dr. Hughes. We actually looked at Carvana just before. Yeah, getting included in the S&P 500. It's certainly a big discussion for the index ETF. So, what's going to happen with the index ETFs in the future? This is a great thought process because in history, concentrated markets have often bought crap into the index and then it's taken a long time to get rid of them. So, is Carvana theoretically a bad business that's now going into the S&P that eventually will have to get kicked out? And then there's more to come. No worries, Fate. Thank you so much. Energy stocks are always needed. Well, yes, but not always loved would be their question. You always need them, and even if you believe in us going to a green revolution, or I love how everyone's forgotten about that as we just burn the living rubbish out of the world with data centers and poison the floor. Oh man, those data centers! Don't look into them, guys. It's scary when you start looking at what they do to the water supplies and stuff. Terrifying places. But don't worry, they can make you nice cat pictures. What you thought on SoFi? We had a look at before, just volatile sideways, not much thoughts on it. Appreciate that. Fertilizer stocks? Yes. Was it new farm? Oh, forgot the bloody fertilizer stock code. Star double X. What's up? $20. Tom, do you think the monthly trend of SPX GC1 reached almost oversold RSI is about to revert up? That's an interesting chart, man. Thank you very much for the. We'll use GC if you'd like. So, yeah, let's have a look. I do like a good ratio chart. You can see here basically the S&P versus gold, and of course there are periods of time where the S&P flogs gold, and then periods of time where gold has performed much better. So I guess the argument is the S&P going to perform better than gold now, or gold better than the S&P? So we're back down at this key support, and I would say that is not a chart that I would be buying. So I'm not going to. I don't think the trend right now is, oh yeah, let's all long the S&P against gold. If anything, I think gold could actually punish the S&P a little bit more and end up down in this ratio in the future, where gold's doing better. What do you guys think in the chat, though? I mean, to get better than this, obviously you're going to need a 2 to really say, okay, yeah, that's the S&P taking over from gold. Because I'm very bullish gold, as you know, I'm not going to say gold looks better at this stage. I don't even think the chart does. Sorry, I'm not going to say S&P looks better than gold. I don't think the chart does. So at the moment, the trend is down. If it double bottoms, we can reverse that, and we will if necessary. But at this point, I would say the trend is down. So therefore, S&P to underperform gold seems more likely. And of course, a break of 1.5 is going to be a huge deal in the future. And it's a great chart. Well done to you for bringing it up. Excellent chart. Water is the source of life, not around the data center. Wouldn't be drinking that water. This chart is if you do SPX, it goes all the way to the peak 1930s. Yes, it can get further. Yep, I gotcha. Always good to get the old history if you can. Silver looks best. Yes, silver is still very cheap. Remember, it only just hit those highs, so it's still underpriced to gold. I've argued that for a while. You ever trade UVIX, SESVOL, VXX? No. That being said, it isn't shocking to trade them very specifically. There are risks involved, though, and stops are hard on that because you get a lot of gaps. So I don't mind crash. If I was going to trade VIX, I'd trade VIX crash more than VIX ramp. Barrels are up. Oil is down. Saw someone say that for a new year, big money will sell their losses and buy the winners to window dress to then buy those losers again beginning in January. Thoughts? Well, they usually see huge transactions around there as well. A lot of liquidity coming in from fund stuff. Yeah, but it's not a profitable scenario. Thailand launches airstrikes at Cambodia. I'm assuming is that a story that just came through? What? Getting the information. Oh, so it doesn't need to be clean water. Yeah. VIX should go down for Santa Rally, hopefully. I think VIX trading is generally on the crush side, but it's not without its own risks. If you don't actually hold physical gold and silver, you don't own it. It's an argument. I don't think the ETFs are terrible, which are obviously holding technical bullion, but they're meant to hold real physical bullion for you. It even has a holding cost, so better come at a cost. Better exist somewhere. They commandeer it from you. I'll check this out. So I saw it a lot. Okay. It's a good demand structure. It's too early to tell though. I'm kind of at that resistance area. Mark out this. Then you can also see like this daily 50 on the way down. So in breach all this, is starting to do really good structure stuff. Okay, Chaz, you're not loving the questions, dude. Chat is a box of rocks. I don't think chat will. No. Smartest peeps. That's what they are. Those are good questions. I don't know what you're talking about. Is it too late to join the Google push? I think so. It's fair value right now. Fair value at the moment in terms of fundamental fair value. Now, some people say, well, that means it's not overvalued yet, so therefore it's still cheap. I think copper's still got more in it myself, but obviously you make your own risks. They process the ocean water, bro, with the data center energy needs cooling. They can use raw ocean water. Is that what they're doing? Are these data centers using raw ocean water, guys? I think in 20 years, by the way, we're going to have three-eyed fishes. Three-eyed fishes. That's what's going to happen. RKLB, I've looked at Rocket Lab a few times. Interesting base, but still pretty spec. Thoughts on Microsoft? Nothing much there. Had a look at it before. Do you think NVIDIA will hit 195 before the end of the year? Not sure about NVIDIA at this stage. It's not giving any real, like, obviously I'll be more bullish than bearish on it. It hasn't broken structure down, but it's not giving any real edge vibes on it. Raw ocean water. Why do we call it raw ocean water? Will corrode everything. I was just thinking that. I was thinking, why are we going? How are we doing this? I should we have a D-cell plant attached to a data center plant attached to. That's funny. Cooked ocean water. Look, no one does it better than you Americans, guys. I heard about the thing called raw water in New York, where some bro was just getting water from a random river, not filtering it, and selling it for 50 US bucks a liter. And people bought this and then got megally sick. Raw water. What? Don't buy raw water, guys. Danger. No-eyed fish. Nokia. It's back? What the hell is Nokia's code? What is this? I used to look at this in like 2020. What the hell is Nox code? Is it in okay? Is it? Oh. Ticker is ACT. What? This is the new Nokia code? What is this? Clean technology. Okay. Looks volatile technology. JB says, Tom, I think your bullish outlook on BTC is wrong. I'm looking for lower 80s. But lower 80s doesn't really break any structure and change any bullish outlook. So, I mean, you could even have that, and I still be fine with it. Look, the question really is, are we in a significant bear bust? So, if we're in a significant bear bust, we obviously clear this level, rally, dump, it's over. Okay, that's a significant bear bust. There is also a chance that we do this, and then we still bear bust. I don't know. I'm not convinced by the end of this. I think it's going to have to stick with stocks for now. Is 80s a good long buying point? Not my opinion, no. Because we went down there multiple times. You don't want it back down again. If this now takes out these lows of 87, it would be very bad. I'm not familiar, Charlie. There's too many of them. Look, I'm really good at stocks, commodities. Okay, Bitcoin, pretty good Bitcoin. Currencies, metals, all good. Property, love it all. But when it comes to crypto, I like to stick to the big boys. I don't venture into the crypto alts. And I will say I got to CryptoCon, came back. No one even wanted to talk about them. There was one guy in the corner with a golden chain talking about XRP, though. Dead set. Golden chain. Cuban. Gold everywhere. Not sure if it's even real. XRP army. It's funny. Are metals in the middle right now? Yeah. Metals are an okay, but not fantastic early. Never trust a Sunday BTC pump. Brass coated steel chain, yeah. Mr. T, yeah, yeah. It was kind of like a Mr. T kind of vibe, yeah. Like a wrestler vibe, except not that muscular. TA is funny. We won't know BTC is down until it's down. It can't get to 108K. I don't agree with that at all. It can't get to 108K until we pass 95. Just incredible insights. No, that's not true at all. The thing is, what you're not understanding about TA is that sometimes you gain extremely good edge at certain zones. So what you're not considering, what you're considering is, okay, you break here, then then we're more likely going to 75 or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. That's not that much edge. I agree. However, when you go back to certain key zones and you see certain interactions with those zones, then you're going to be able to make a very good statistical guess. And that's where I think a lot of people get it wrong. Some people say, oh, it's tea leaves or whatever else. And I just say you're studying the psychology of the market. What is this? It's a visual representation of the psychology of everyone trading in the markets. And Wyckoff, of course, told us that we could view the invisible footprint or hand of funds through the way that they had to build and distribute and accumulate. The thing that concerns me always, and I think that concerns me about the markets right now, is that people want instant gratification like that. They've gotten used to it last maybe a year or two. And that's not the way the market was back in the day. So I think we'll eventually go back to a lesser crazy market and people are going to lose their minds. But to say TA doesn't give you edge, sometimes it gives you significant edge, bro. And there are charts right now popping off I don't even have here that I'm telling you will have significant edge on them. Significant edge. No worries. Good work, Kyle. Forget BTC. What's with the $50 river water? Yeah, it's real. This thing. Raw water, guys. $50 raw water refers to a controversial 2018 health trend where people paid significant money, like 30 to 60 bucks. Oh, it wasn't a liter, it was 2.5 gallons, sorry, for untreated, unsterilized spring water, believing it offered more minerals and probiotics than filtered water. Some brands sold water they claimed they harvested from icebergs, Titanic icebergs, claiming extreme purity with bottles costing about 50 bucks. Luxury brands and other brands sell water to elaborate their bottles with gold and crystals for over $100. So there you go, guys. We live in a world of pure opulence. Iceberg water, 50 bucks US, and $100 Gucci. Yes, this was crazy. This was crazy. Wow, the tinned air. That was crazy. And the oxygen. And that they'd I remember that. They'd be in like were they in shopping centers in America? And people were like huffing this oxygen. They would give you pure oxygen. They'd sell it to you for unbelievable money. Yes. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe the pure oxygen is the real deal. I remember they said you can buy this per day. You can huff the pure oxygen and it would only cost 2 coffees. Remember NFTs? Yeah. My dad grew up in the Depression and will not buy water ever. Yeah. He knows how to save money. Live off the smell of the oily rag. Good man. That oxygen tank was on American Shark Tank and they ate it up. It was big in Japan. Is it still around? It helps in the mountains. Yeah. That makes sense. Like it's like saying scuba driving. Well, that's not obviously it's mixed, but yeah, if you want to climb Mount Everest, you might want to get a little bit of the oxygen tank. But I don't know if you want to go to the shopping center and half oxygen. Digital real estate. That's the new modern one. Oh, well, not so much digital real estate. It's going to be this crypto real estate, real asset thing. I still don't know who exactly is going to own this stuff. Cannabis stocks are making a comeback. Yeah. You know what? That's a great point to close on here today, guys. It is a little slow because obviously it's the week it's mostly crypto this morning. But what I guess I want to say here is we've just brought up several trends that can teach us all a massive lesson. They've taught, and they just, again, you just reminded me of things. The raw water, I almost forgot about that, and the oxygen. Yes. So what that tells me always is that things come and go. And the key in investing is to recognize whether it's real or not. And although I do think still AI will end up having a massive crash at some point, I think it's here. It's real. Maybe not this version, but it is real. It is here to stay. And it's going to be like the internet. Yeah. So you've got to remember that in the future when all the haters come out. Because at some point there's going to be haters and they won't have a big blue bull on the top of Barron's. It'll be a bull with flames on it, red eyes, lasers coming out of its eyes, because everything will be burning and it'll say AI, fake. But I think that is going to be wrong as well. And that is going to be the time you guys are going to swoop in. My wife's OnlyFans account has been outperforming the S&P 500 by 212% year to date. Come on, Nate. All right, guys. That's crazy. That could be true. All right. I'll catch you later. You have a fantastic start to the week. Remember the data. The data. We have got FOMC, expected rate cut. I would expect it as well. Japan, with all of its stuff going on as well. And the big news is really going to be, what do those two guys do? And I think that we'll probably get some clarity. At the moment, though, market structures are coming in pretty hot. And level to watch, if we do keep going bullish on Bitcoin, could be 102, 104. We'll keep updated, guys. We'll get you a closed show. And I look forward to seeing you all at the end of today for most of you. Bye for now from Kangaroo Land. Catch you later. See ya.